So as an athlete, if you're looking to make it to the highest level of whatever you do, you have to be all in. So it's very difficult to manage a day job when you're trying to be elite or the best at what you do as an athlete. I know for me, as a snowboarder, when I was competing at World Cups, championships, and the World Tour, I was competing against athletes who were being paid a large amount of money from brands, sponsors by the events to actually be there. Meanwhile, I'm trying to make my ends meet and work a job to pay for myself to actually be able to compete. So it's really difficult to manage a day job while you're competing at that high level, which is why you see a lot of athletes who get to that high level, not quite the best, but they reach that that top level or that medium level, the qualification level, and they often quit or fall off. And it's because they don't necessarily have the funds and the ability to go all in on their training as a full-time athlete to actually be competitive among the best in the world who might be getting paid a lot of money to be there. So when you get to these top level events, there's a lot of athletes who are just scraping everything together to actually be at those events. And then there's athletes who are being paid 6-7 figures to be at those events as well. And you're competing against each other. It's really difficult to deal with the high stress of trying to make ends meet while you're trying to compete and train at that elite level. Often, as a competitive athlete, you get to the local and national level and you're winning a lot of these events, dominating even, and all of a sudden you're thrown into the top events in the world and you're fighting just for a top 30 spot. And it may feel like only the top 5 or 10 athletes are actually getting paid to be there. Meanwhile, how can you keep up and how can you actually train at a level to be the best and surpass these other athletes? So that was a long-winded way to introduce this video and the topic, which is all about how you can go all in on becoming a full-time athlete, quit your day job, and give your training and your competing 100% of your focus. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos about athlete marketing. Okay, so there are 4 main tips of how you can go full-time at being an athlete aside from just being the best and winning every single event and prize money and so on. So these tips are important for up-and-coming athletes who are looking to be able to fund their way to that top level, as well as top-level athletes who are looking to get paid more and build a larger platform. So number 1 is fairly straightforward, and that is to make sport and the whole sport industry your actual lifestyle. So when I was coming up snowboarding, when I was about 13, 14, 15, I was working actually as a snowboard instructor at my local mountain, which allowed me to get paid to be on my snowboard, training all day, and the time that I wasn't actually working, I was able to still be on my board and using the mountain to train. So if you're competitive in your sport, there's more than likely a ton of opportunities for you to get paid to help others or show people a skill set that you have and actually get paid for doing that. As well, a lot of the employers in the sport industry know and recognize that you're a competitive athlete and will be very lenient with you with arranging your schedule around competitions and training so that it's a win-win for you, their customers and clients, and their business. Okay, so the next tip that I have is super important, and this is important for up-and-coming athletes and athletes who are already the best at what they do, and this is to go all in on creating content. Now listen, sports are in the entertainment industry. If you want to build an audience and actually get sponsors who pay you what you feel you're worth for what you're doing, you need to be using social media and know how to market yourself. Now, if you use Instagram, you all know the value of this. You've seen influencers who built their fame through Instagram alone. They weren't an athlete or other things. They literally got famous through Instagram and are now getting paid 6 or 7 figure deals to make posts. It's pretty crazy. And so when you think about it, like, you have this credibility as an athlete, so you already have that advantage to go on these platforms and build yourself an audience that is really authentic and true to yourself and what you do. Inspire others and get sponsors and brand deals that are on board with that and align with your mission, your passion, and your values. There's a lot of influencers out there, but as an athlete, you have that credibility to come in, create content, and get a lot of people to follow along your journey, which works for both you, your platform in and out of sport when you retire, as well as for sponsorships and maximizing the amount of money that you can make while you are actually competing. Okay, so my next tip, number 3, is to monetize the things that you're already doing. So for example, I was really big into strength and conditioning. So I started running strength and conditioning camps for ski and snowboard athletes in my community. Now through these camps, I was able to actually work on my own fitness, my own strength and conditioning, and it was a total win-win. I was getting paid to do what I'm already doing. Okay, so my last tip is to look beyond sport. You need to think bigger than your sport itself. So I was speaking to an athlete recently who said that his sport was very fringe, and even though he was a professional in the sport itself, that he didn't think the sponsors in the sport had that much money because the audience was low. So it was really cool to see his mindset and his perspective shift on this when I told him, maybe you should think beyond your sport itself. That's why you see some of these top athletes who have written books and done other things that are so much bigger than the sport themselves. They have that cross sport and mainstream popularity. So whether your audience is big or small or whatever level of athlete that you are, chances are you can reach more people outside of your sport. So sport is not every single waking hour of your life. There's so many things that you do around health, wellness, fitness, mindset, morning routines, all these things that you could be sharing to inspire others to live better and be better, which is why people follow athletes in the first place. Not only will this help you grow your audience, but brands and sponsors want to partner with an athlete who has this type of reach and creates this type of content. So if you're looking to be the best, maximize your time in your athletic career, as well as create a platform for after you're done competing, you need to get creative when it comes to work, social media, and marketing yourself. So make sure that you're subscribed so that you can get all the next videos that I create all about athlete marketing. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment, hit save, share it with a friend, and tag some people so that I know that you like it and I can keep creating more of this type of content. See you guys.